I think of or that I would want to do is going to have God's blessing on it. It's not my vision, but it's God's vision. And God's vision can be different than ours. We need to remind ourselves every day of God's character. We need to review the promises. We need to watch for what He's doing. But in order for that to happen, we have to make ourselves available to Him. Why is it that God seems to be a God of, He's a 911 God more than He ever is an 800 God? I mean, we call Him when we're in crisis and when there's an emergency, but we can't seem to make that free telephone call anytime we want to. Next week we're going to be in verse 41. Pharaoh starts dreaming. And because of what Joseph had went through, because of God's faithfulness and God's hand on him, even in the worst situation that Joseph found himself, God has been preparing him for something great. It took many, many years. God has been trying or is going to move Joseph from where he's at to a place on high. Just like He's going to move you to a place on high if you allow Him to do that. Are you in the waiting room right now? I mean, what are you waiting on? Have you shared it with God? Maybe you're waiting on a job. Some of us are here today. I mean, let's be real. There's some of us here today that don't have jobs. Some of us here next week may not have jobs. Some of us here today that maybe there's not enough of food in the pantry. You talking to God? Did He remind you about Christ's cupboard in here? Go in there and get you some food. God will provide and minister to you in ways that you can't imagine if we place our trust in Him and look to Him. Might not be the way we thought it was going to be. Might not be the way we wanted it to be. Maybe you're going through this hard time because God's trying to move you to a better place. Maybe you'll end up with a better job because He got you out of the one that you were in. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're going to be waiting for 15 years for a job. I don't know, but if at the end of 15 years you manage to pay your bills, it wouldn't be such a bad thing, would it? Just kind of hang out for a while. Being in God's waiting room is not all bad. Sometimes we can only see the bad in these hard times and in these places we find ourselves. But they can be places for great opportunity because God is doing something. What is God doing in your life? What are you willing to allow Him to do? Let's get prepared as individuals, as Christ followers, as ministries, as church leaders. Let's get prepared for what God's going to do. Can He bring your team up here and close us with some praise? While the team's coming forward, would you just bow your head? Jim's going to turn the lights off. I'm going to ask for every head in here to be bowed, every eye closed. God is going to provide for you something that we don't always give ourselves. Opportunity to be with Him. A divine appointment to just sit there with your eyes closed and your head bowed. We've got time. God's made it available for you. And everybody just take a deep breath. And just breathe it out. Bible says when we enter into God's house, we enter into His rest. And sometimes, we just have to take a break in the presence of God. Would you just allow your heart maybe that couple moments to just speak to Him? Go ahead. He's got big shoulders. Lift up anything that's on there. Tell Him about the unfairness that's going in your life. Tell Him about the sickness that you're dealing with. Tell Him about the things that you wish you could do but you can't do anymore. Tell Him about that child that's just walking down the wrong path. Tell Him about that old truck that won't run anymore. Tell him about that person that made fun of you, laughed at you, persecuted you, maybe even persecuted you for his name's sake. What would you tell him? Maybe you just say, Father, I have just made such a mess of things. And I just need your help. I just need your touch. I just need to feel your presence. And so I come, Father, with my heart. May my spirit be with your spirit. Let's give him a minute of silence.